Hello, hello, hello. Here we are again, Cheryl and Joyce, unscripted yet intentional, you and I. So we're just talking about a few things. And so we're just kicking it again today. And today we're going to talk about who has your fingerprint? Does anybody have your fingerprint? We want to talk about some things today about what's our why? What makes us unique? Why are we doing what we do? Yeah. So I don't know, Cheryl, did you want to start? Do you want me to start? How do you want to do this today?
Why don't you start? I would love to hear your story first. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to start the timer so I don't go way over because, I can talk about myself forever. But I will say, when I think about my why for my clients and for myself, they really have merged. I will say when I started my business the first time, because this is really my second time of starting in business. I was in business for 10 years or so in the States, got married to a wonderful Bermudian man, moved to Bermuda and started working for government and big business, international business. And then I was called to start my business again. So I call this my second time around. And now I'm kind of doing a shift and now it's kind of an encore in addition career. But the first time I started business, it was because I knew I needed to help Black businesses. I was a banker and I was doing more work outside of my clients in the bank and doing loans because the businesses were coming to me with shoe boxes and I was helping them to get their numbers right so I could present their loan packages. And I knew there was a need and I was meeting that need. So I was meeting a need that I saw. Now, I think when I started business this time, I felt like I was doing something for my family, that I wanted to earn money, make a living, but in an authentic way. I was really feeling, I was in the last position I was in, and God was kicking me. He was kicking me out of working for people. I know I have an entrepreneurial spirit. I know that now. And I just was more and more uncomfortable with where I was. I wasn't comfortable in my skin. I wasn't comfortable in that environment. It wasn't feeling right to me. The things I was watching happening, we're as a Christian, I'm supposed to be salt and light. And I was feeling like the salt and the light were being washed out. And I was standing up and being there. But God was telling me, okay, you've done it. You've left the things you need to leave. You need to be out. And it was very uncomfortable. So I said, okay, I'm going to be in business for myself, to do for my family, to have a career where I can make money for my family in an authentic way. But as I have been doing this, and really being in community, being with people like you and Brother Bedford and the other people that give us advice in our Masters of Business, our mob community, I've really found that I am in this business, not just because I'm an accountant, but because of it's my ministry. I'm a minister, I'm an ordained minister. And I have always, I won't say I have always, a lot of times I would struggle with leading with the ministry or leading with the accounting. And am I being unauthentic because I'm not being a God girl all the time? And then I said, just let it happen. Let it go as it goes. And I found that people are drawn to me because of who I am. And I am now, my clients call me Pastor Joyce, Reverend Joyce. The people who work with me call me Pastor Joyce. And I find that I'm ministering to my clients. They come to me because of what I offer them, because they can talk, they can be who they are, and I can give them advice in a way that makes them feel good about who they are, but gives them the right kind of correction. That client who had the paper that fell off the truck, and I was like, you can't do that. You can't, if somebody is doing that and you're buying that paper that they really got illegally from their employer, you can't do that. That's not going to help you in your business. Your business is not going to thrive because that's not right. And so I don't throw the Bible at people, but I find that I am just who I am, and that my business and my ministry have come together. And so my why, my fingerprint, who I am, is Joyce, excuse me, who can minister to people where they need ministering to. That some clients, they'll call me just because they need a prayer. Some will call because they got something horrible happening, or a client did something to them and they need me to explain them through it. Like, don't jump off the edge, don't arc out on them. This is why that happened, or this is what I can suggest, or just take a moment, just woosah for a minute, just pray, let's talk, have a cup of tea, whatever we need to do. So I realize it's about more than the accounting. It's about how I help them to be who they are and who they want to be, so they can serve and be their best selves. So that's me. That's why I'm doing what I do.
I don't know if anybody else's heart is beating fast, but it's just the passion that comes out. I absolutely love it. I think we were talking earlier and I said, sometimes people think like we think we're here for a certain reason, a certain thing. And really it's so much more, right? So people thought MLK it was here to be a pastor, and it's beyond that, right? Muhammad Ali, they thought, oh, he's here to be a boxer. It's beyond that. So there are just areas where it's expansive and it's allowing yourself to flow. Sometimes we don't allow ourselves to flow. So I love that for you. Okay, so most people know this. I'll make the story short. I grew up as the shyest girl in the room. Literally, once I moved across country, I got to a point where I was debilitatingly shy, to the point where I would not even ring the bell on the bus to get off the bus. I would just ride along to the next person's stop. I didn't want anyone to see me. I didn't want to be seen, heard, anything. You can add value in there as well. And so over time, I realized I'm not going to achieve any of my goals. I was always a list person. So I had all these goals listed and things I wanted to do. And I'm like, you won't be able to do these things if you don't speak up for yourself and speak up, period. So I mindset marched my way through showing up, and I would show up when I needed to show up. And then I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm going back into my hole, until I started walking closer in, as you mentioned, alignment to who I am. So I had a picture of who I wanted to become, and I knew I had to walk a little closer. And the more you walk in the vision of who you want to become, the easier it is. Right? It's just, you give yourself an alter ego, you give yourself a vision of who you want to become. And I don't mean outside yourself, like I want to be Beyonce. I mean, like, who do I want to become? I have to tell people that we're not looking outside ourselves. So, you walk closer there. And over time, I just realized I have certain skill sets that came from me being the shyest girl in the room. I mean, I love to listen to people's stories. I've seen people that don't love to listen to people's stories, and they jump in and it's like, did you hear what they said? Right. So there are lots of things that came from that. Planning my energy, like understanding people show up in different ways. And so if I'm showing up with my alter ego, somebody else in the room could be showing up, pushing themselves forward to be someone they'd like to be, but that's not natural for them. So I'm very aware that we're all trying to do the best we can. So I think a lot of times shy people, introverts, are typically drawn to me because I don't show up. It doesn't appear that I'm shy anymore. I still have some shyness, but they're looking at me going, if she was shy, like, what's the secret sauce, right? So I typically, where I see myself is I fit for people that are trying to find their voice, trying to find their footing. That I spoke with someone yesterday, I won't go into this long story, but she was so broken from a toxic environment that she's afraid. The word she used is terrified. I'm terrified to do business. And I could give her a dozen things to begin to take the steps, because I remember being terrified. I remember being debilitatingly quiet. And so I get like choked up even thinking about it, because it's impactful to your heart and your spirit and your soul when you don't feel like you can show up for yourself, right? So long story shorter, that is my assignment, to use the words that Joyce used. I feel like I'm here to help people find their natural, unique voice. I happen to do so in a sales coaching manner, so that if you're a small business owner or you are a corporate sales team or any of those things, and you're looking for a stronger voice or you're looking for a voice, period, I typically can listen to someone's story, understand, and I can help coach you through that. That's really, I can give you advice, but I also can help coach. So similar to yours, right? We come with our full selves, and it just happens that I'm a sales coach, so I'm a sales consultant. So that's how I do it. But the people that come to me gravitate because I have a certain fingerprint, a certain uniqueness about me. So that's it. That's my story.
Awesome.
Thanks.
That is so amazing. What you said, so many things, but how people are drawn. And people may not even know you were the shyest girl in the room, but something about you drawn to those other shy people. And when they hear your story, and that's at some point, we'll talk about in another episode, I'm sure, about stories, but when you share your story and people hear that, that's your tribe. That's your team, that's your people. And that's what I love about this, is that what our why is unique. It's our fingerprint. It's not for everybody. It's for those that want it. And that's where AI is so, it's artificial intelligence, and there's a place for that. But the human element that makes you, that makes you for somebody else, fire.
Yeah, that's why I'm an AI enthusiast, but that's why it's called artificial. Right? True. They could have called it authentic intelligence. We do know this, right? But they didn't. They called it artificial.
Right. That's right. Yeah. So true.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, this has been another episode of You and I.
Yes.
Unscripted yet intentional. You and I am Joyce Chesley Hayward. As Cheryl mentioned, she is in the sales area. I'm in the accounting area. I'm an external CFO. I help small and medium-sized businesses to love their business and love their life, do what they do so they can serve people authentically and have that balance to be able to enjoy their business and enjoy their life because they have profit in their business. So I'm a profitability expert, and I love to make sure that my clients have profit freedom, which is also the name of my book.
I absolutely love it. I'm Cheryl Parks. I mentioned that I'm a sales coach. Most people know me as the sales coach around the internet streets. And I love working with people that are interested in transformation, whether it be a transformation of finding their voice or even building a stronger voice so that they can actually build relationships in a better, more genuine, authentic way, which is why Joyce and I are so aligned, and get to at least six figures, if not beyond, based upon them finding that unique voice and not feeling so salesy or scripted when they're actually doing business. So those are the areas that I typically walk in. This is the walk that we're taking, and we will be back with more You and I.
Bye. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.